Greetings everyone, my name is Noteba Angel Kuzwayo and I live in KwaZulu-Natal in a small village called Msing. I went to Great Town Secondary School where I matriculated. So without wasting any time further, let me hand it over to my partner.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Puku Indipile. I come from Eastern Cape in Tata. I started high school at Shobari SSS. So today we'll be having a conversation about worldviews and how they shape us as future teachers. So I hope you guys will enjoy listening to our dialogue.
Yes, instead of treating it like an interview, we'll just share our personal experiences, how our worldviews were formed and how they might influence our teaching practices in the future.
Exactly. We might not always see things the same way, but that is what makes this interesting. We can learn from each other's perspectives. You know, when we started this topic about worldviews, I realized I never really thought about how my own background shapes the way I see teaching. For me, worldview is like the glasses I wear every day without noticing.
That's a very good way of putting it. But for me, I would say worldview is more like a foundation. So everything I believe about teaching and life stand on its own.
That makes sense. Personally, for me, I think one experience that shaped my worldview a lot is living in a boarding school. Living with so many different personalities taught me discipline, independence, and also tolerance. I mean, we were about 13 students in one room. So there were times whereby others would get moody out of the blue, especially in the mornings. So I had to accept that we are unique. I had to accept that everyone has a different personality. So I had to understand that we come from different backgrounds and different towns. And that made me realize that not all people think like me and live like me, but we have to share the same space and respect each other.
That's a very interesting way. But for me, I think it was most the opposite. So I went to a day school. So my worldviews were more shaped by my family at home and the community. Because I remember there was a time when my neighborhood's home was broken. But we as a family and the community, we supported her and we comforted her in the way that he felt loved. So I guess that is why I value independence less and lean more on guidance from the community and the mentors.
I think that is why our worldviews are a bit different. Because of boarding school, I believe in giving learners space to manage themselves and be responsible. I think that is why our design lessons with a lot of learner autonomy.
That makes sense. But for me, I think I'll prepare lessons that are more collaborative and teacher guidance.
Okay, that is a very good point. I never really thought about how too much independence can overwhelm some learners.
And I never really thought about how structured independence could actually lead to our learners to realize. That is why our worldviews can actually complement each other.
Exactly. And studying about worldview theory has actually opened my eyes. Before I thought teaching was just about content. But now I realize that how much my worldview and even the experience of boarding school influences things like discipline. I expect learners to be self-disciplined because that is what I had to learn.
I get that. My worldview pushes me to create a safe environment, almost like a family. Because I believe most learners try to do better when they feel that they have a strong support system around them.
So your approach comes from valuing guidance, while mine comes from valuing
Exactly. And I think the challenge here is when our worldviews doesn't match with our learners. For example, if I put too much structure, the independent learners might feel restricted, and if I put too much independence, others may feel lost.
That is true, but I think that is where our worldviews helps. We can balance it. Our role is not to impose, but to guide and create space for different backgrounds.
Yes. So I think our worldview pushes us to understand each one another in each and every time and not judge amongst anything.
Yes, that is true. Our worldview shapes us. They don't have to limit us. And also they can actually help us to connect with students in deeper ways.
So after this conversation, I've realized that after all, we do not have to judge each one another, but we can always learn, understand new concepts instead of just ignoring other people's perspective, other people's view.
I agree. At first I thought my worldview was just about how I lived, but now I understand it's also about the way I teach, the way I interact with students, and also about the way I make decisions.
And I think the more we reflect on our worldviews, the better we'll be at learning our children's background.
Exactly. I think that is the real takeaway. As teachers, our role is not to impose our worldviews, but to use them as a guide while remaining open to others.
So in the end, worldview, I don't think it's just a restriction or a boundary, but I think it is a new beginning for learning, for growing, and for inclusive education.
And I think we are ready to bring our worldviews into our teaching journey and always learning. Thank you for listening to our conversation. I hope you enjoyed.